So you said 97,000 miles.
Yeah, almost.
Man, nice. And your windshield's tinted too, isn't it?
It is.
Is that
5%.
Does it help with the heat a lot?
Oh yeah.
All right, guys. This is Gus. He's a subscriber of my channel. So he has a beautiful Donington Gray X5M. So guys, you watched my video about things about the ownership experience and how people think that they can run it. But anyway, here's what I spent on the M3. I've owned this car for 3 years. I purchased it with 39 or 40,000 miles. I can't remember exactly. I was running that just right at 40,000 miles, I believe. And I have 53 on it right now. Now I know I don't drive it very much, but doesn't mean that maintenance doesn't just disappear. All right, oil changes are done per manufacturer every 10,000 or once a year. All right, now I haven't been hitting that 10,000 miles mark, but I've been hitting it yearly. When you start your car, first thing, it'll tell you a mileage and a date. All right, people probably wonder, should you go by the mileage or the date? Well, it's whatever comes first. All right, if you don't drive your car very much, then you can go by the date. If you drive your car a lot, it's going to be miles. All right, the miles are going to count down when you get closer, but the date's also going to be, if you said, for example, for me, it comes up, every year. The reason being, the oil in the engine can retain moisture. After a year, that water, the condensation and stuff in the oil can now build up and degrade the oil, so you need to get it fresh oil change. So far, I've taken it in for service. I spent, I think, around $600 for my first personal service. What I've done was I did the oil change and the rear differential fluid, and I believe they were around $250, $300. I think it was like around like $150 or something like that for the rear differential, but for just the oil change and the rear differential fluid, I think it was around $600. All right. My second thing came up was the next oil change. I did it myself. I spent $120 in materials I ordered online and performed the oil change myself. All right. So all in all, I have spent around $750 in owning this car. That's it. That's out of pocket. Now, when I purchased this car, it had and I'll buy extended warranties, but fortunately it did have 1 year of warranty remaining. Or I say it's 1 year, probably 8 months of warranty remaining. So under that warranty, what I have done was my seat emblem logos had cracked. I got those replaced. Guess what? I tried to get the dealership. I begged the dealership. I said, please, put the new ones in, put the black ones in, because they're not prone to cracking. They said no. I said we had to put in what the car came with. And I said, well, I heard there's a new design, and that new design is supposed to be less prone to it. And I heard that people getting it done. They said, nope, we can't do it. So anyway, they put the old ones back in, and guess what? They're cracked again. I'm out of warranty. But there are DIYs online which can show. I think Keys Motorsports made a good video on that. I might have to watch that video because they showed just how to replace the seat emblems. Expect to spend around $300 for an oil change. I'm not sure on the M Pacific. I just called on the 50i with the V8. I can imagine them charging any extra. BMW may charge an extra on just having the M, maybe have a charge an M tax on it. I wouldn't be surprised if they did. But spark plugs, I bought the plugs, coils, $300 in parts. Okay, labor's free, 'cause I did it. Dealership costs, $800 on labor plus parts. So if I spent $300 plus $800, then you know that's about $1,200 depending on the dealership you go to, because I'm sure it's going to vary per dealership. And also too, I didn't buy OEM parts too, so obviously BMW parts are going to be a little more expensive. So rear airbags was another one. All right, when I say rear airbags, means if you have air suspension on your X5, if it sags, like if you come to, like, if it's been sitting for a while, the rear suspension will drop, and what happens is it's sagging down. You know, it may rise when you crank the car up. That means the pump is pumping. Ignoring it to cause pump failure. All right. So what's happening is dealerships. I called dealership. They said it would be $500 for labor to do that. All right. So really simple to do. I did a video on that too. But you got to think about it too. The BMW dealership is going to charge you $300 per rear shock. Right. So $600 again for parts. $500 for labor. Again, that's another $1,100. All right. So you save money, and you could buy these parts at the market for about $100 for the set. Or sorry, $100 per piece. It all depends on. I've seen some parts go for $80 or for a set. Is dealership your only option for service? No, it's not. If you have an independent mechanic who specializes in European cars, great. That's a cheaper option to do. Because, you know, I'm not saying that everybody should be mechanically inclined to own one of these cars. I'm just saying there's cheaper options out there, and these cars aren't as bad as what it ought to be. Okay. Let's take, for example, a brake and rotor service. Real easy to do. You can buy the parts yourself. I would say within $300. However, a dealership price, I can't wrap my head around that because I didn't even call, but I pretty much know they're going to charge you. For the M, it's going to be probably about $2,000. I'll be honest with you, it's going to be $2,000. I would say probably about half that. I would say maybe more, because each rotor on the M is $300. So $600 a piece, just rotors alone, not including the pads. It's a lot of money. I'm just gonna say that it's a lot of money. All right. Very simple to do brakes. I'm gonna do brakes too coming up, so that's gonna be another video coming out on the M. They have reputation. I get it. They're not horrible to maintain. Nothing's perfect. I think when you buy them, do your research if you're looking for used. Obviously, if you're looking new, you should know. I mean, obviously, you're just going for it. You're right. You're just going for it. So, I guess what I'm getting at is when you're going for these cars new, you at least got coverage for the first 4 years, 30,000 miles. I'm not sure. I think it's 3 years, 36 for BMW, what they're doing now. Maintenance is included. So the first 3 years, you don't pay oil changes. You don't pay, I think they give you wiper blade inserts, brake fluid flush, all that's included. And I want to say they include brake pads, but they may have changed that too. I want to say brake pads are included in that service cost. It's not really free. It's bundled into the price because that's kind of like, I'm sure BMW is not going to lose money on this. Certified pre-owned is another option. You pay more for it as opposed to just buying one used. I don't typically look for a certified pre-owned. I would like one just to have peace of mind with the warranty, but that is not my ultimate goal. If I see one on the used market that has my specifications, first thing I do is check the history. What did the car look like on history? And the first thing I'm going to see is I'll see when the car was taken delivery of, and the Carfax gives me a little bit of information. Right? Not a lot, but just enough to give me an idea of what the car's like. So I'll see, okay, the car went in for service at, 9,000 miles. Then it was back in at 20,000 miles. It might have went for 25,000 miles, and it might have been at 30,000 miles, and then 40. So that tells me every 10,000 miles or so, that car was in for service. I read it and see what it's about. It might say oil changes, performance, system check. Okay, great. Just basic maintenance. Now, when I see one that's in the service and it might not tell me what it is, but it might say it was in service in May, then it went again in June, then it went again in October, then it went again in December, and the mileage has only been like a couple thousand miles a piece. That's a car I probably won't stay away from. I'll be honest, I will stay away from that car. Tires. You don't have to buy the tires that were originally equipped with the car. Now, BMW has what they call star tires for some of their vehicles. That's saying that that tire was engineered for that particular BMW, and you should, if you want the best performance, you could put that car back on there. You don't have to do that. Now, Would you go for the cheapest tire? No, because this is a performance. BMW, even if you don't get the M, BMW is a higher performance vehicle, right? Is the ultimate driving machine. Is driving a car. I wouldn't put a cheap Chinese tire on the car. Personally, I would spend the money, get something at least a name brand, Hankook, Continental. Lowest I might go for, Falcon. But usually at the top end, you got Pirelli, you have Michelin, Continental, Bridgestone. I mean, all of those are good. Those are top brands, right? And there are other options for those. If you spend a little bit more, you get a little bit more. The problem with the other tires, they may work good, they may work for some people, but you're not gonna get the ultimate grip. You're not gonna get the best life. And I've had tires like that before. I trust me, I've been there. I've been sometimes where I'm just like, you know what, I'm just gonna cheap out. I'm gonna buy cheap tires on the car. And I've been disappointed when the car didn't perform as well as I thought. All right. You can get, now if your car it's not an M, it could have run flats. Personal preference. Had a 335i, had run flats on it. I didn't mind the run flats. I thought the run flats were, it gave me a false sense of security because the sidewall is so hard, the car handles better. But the M's don't come with run flats. The M's don't come with those, so I know it's not really handling characteristic. But those tires are really expensive. Now, if you have someone, your family rides in the car, because usually if you have run flat, you don't have spare tire. If you want to spend extra money and get a run flat, you can. If you don't want to spend that, if you don't replace a run flat, you can go for non-run flats. But if you do non-run flat, make sure you have an option. Make sure you can either fix a tire, repair it, or you have some AAA or some type of service, because you don't want to be stranded or leave your family stranded. That's my advice. All right, guys, this is Gus. He's also a subscriber of my channel. So he has a beautiful Dynasty Gray X5M. And actually, guys, before we show his car, I've seen this car driving around locally, around town. I was like, you know what? I love that color. I think that's what kind of prompted me to get the 5M. So Gus, he's also a car guy, but we're gonna show his car now. So you said 97,000 miles.
Yeah, almost.
Man, nice. And your windshield's tinted too, isn't it?
It is.
Is that
5%?
Does it help with the heat a lot?
Oh yeah.
That's what I'm thinking about doing for mine.
That and the dash. When I got it, I already noticed, like, the previous person, I think it was a lease before, and then it changed hands after the lease. I don't know where it went to, but I think it was another person that had it in like Missouri or something, and they just didn't take care of it. And you could start seeing a little bit of the leather starting to get creases in it. I see. And mine sits outside all the time, so without the tint, it would just crack the leather super quick. Yeah. So it definitely keeps it cooler, and especially with it sitting at the base all the time. Yeah. In the sun, it helps a lot. So. Okay. Plus, it looks really good.
It does. It does. I noticed when you pull up, I was like, that thing looks dark. So. All right. Any problems with it? Has it been pretty reliable for you for your miles?
Yeah, we put over 50,000 miles on it, so I got it with just under 50 now, or I guess it's just coming up on 50,000 miles. The only big things that I had with it was your connected drive. Okay. Which is when I first started, like, kind of commenting on your channel, where I said, they're going to replace the remote box thing.
The telematics module.
That's it. Yeah. So that was the big thing, and then the only other thing that I had was one of the bags started to sag. Okay. Yeah, but since I had a warranty, they covered it. Nice. Other than that, besides the transmission stuff that we've been talking about, nothing. Yeah. 50,000 miles, almost trouble-free. So that's really good. I was surprised. That's why I got it at CarMax, because I figured the warranty and the M and everything. I was like, man, if this thing has any crazy issues, I won't be in trouble. It's been great. The CarMax warranty, 100% warrant. Yeah, well, I'm sure the guys on the channel, because they always ask me about reliability, I'm sure they'd love to hear, especially them. I was surprised. I was ready to pay to play with this thing, like people say, and it's been amazing. So I'm actually pleasantly surprised by it. But I mean, everyone talks about how the F85, the F80, like this generation of BMWs, they really got their stuff together, because they're talking about reliability issues. But from what I understand, is they really worked on making these a lot reliable. I agree. Yeah, totally agree with you. I haven't, the older ones I've had a 09 335, and that one just had like some electronic gremlins. But other than that, transmission engine was fine with that thing. Yep.
I think going to the new ones like the 50i, I got into it, no warranty.
Yeah.
And you know, see the M3, no warranty. They're trying to spend a warranty. I was like, you know what? I'm just, instead of spending $3 grand, $4 or $5 grand right now, because CarMax is really good warranty. If I can get that one, that's really good because the pricing is really good.
Yep.
BMW knows if they charge you warranty, they're gonna make some money on it.
Oh yeah.
So they're offering me like $6 grand for some extended warranty on the M3. I said no, thank you, and I just take my chances. But I think it, like it's in your case, it sounds like it paid for itself a little bit.
Yeah.
So
no, it definitely helped out, especially with the troubleshooting. The module was the longest thing. That it was in the shop for almost a month and a half before they figured it out.
Oh, nice.
Oh, they had fun trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
It was a bunch of communication between the dealer and BMW USA that they couldn't just.
They're trying to figure out. Alright guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it's not gonna be the same for every car. Every car's gonna be different. You're gonna find, I mean, we only hear about the bad things, right? I mean, the people who have good results with their cars, they're gonna be quiet because they're enjoying it. The ones who have issues, they're gonna be the ones who you're gonna hear more. They're gonna be more vocal. They're gonna say, you know what, because they're upset, you know, which is rightfully so. If you buy a car, you want it to be reliable. But just hearing different perspective. You know, Gus, he talked about his car. He's got 97,000 miles. I think he's had like 1 or 2 unscheduled stops throughout his ownership experience. But considering the miles and what we hear, especially with these engines and the issues that we hear about it on the forums, it's comforting to know that, you know, taking care of these vehicles can go, you know, a lot of miles. My experience has been, I've had plenty of cars 200,000 miles before, and I can tell you I have not had one car that didn't go 100,000 miles without any trouble. At least had like 1 or 2 unscheduled stops. All right, so these cars have been my most reliable cars, and I have owned Infiniti, I've owned Honda, I've owned Acura. I've actually, I was more of a Japanese car fan because I was just hearing, I've always went off what people say about German car ownership. It's going to make you broke. It's going to be expensive. It's going to be this. It's going to be that. I just been scared. So I was always scared to tip my toes into that water, assuming that I'm going to be broke. But guys, if you enjoyed the video, please sure give me a thumbs up. Like this kind of stuff, give me a, you know, subscribe or something. You know, up to you. Totally up to you. If you don't want to subscribe, then don't subscribe. But you know, still to ask.